Hi guys, Linda here from Create Your Future. Before we begin today's video, if you would like one-on-one coaching, all the info is down below. And also please check out our free course on how to uncover your blocks and manifest fast. So the first part of this video is a success story. And honestly, I wish I could show you the recording of the video call because I was like, oh my gosh, we were both like freaking out. And then the second part of this video is to answer a subscriber's question. So I have permission to share, and you'll see a posting on it soon enough. So I had a client that she's been a regular. I think we ended up talking 4 or 5 times by now. So when she first came to me, she had gone on a vacation and met a gentleman on vacation, and they hit it off, and everything was great. And they both live in 2 different countries, different from the country that they met in. And he was saying to her that we're going to keep in touch when we go back home. And in May, they were going to go on vacation to Egypt together. They would meet there, and everything was great. So what happened was, when she came back to her country, they weren't really talking. You know, he kind of ghosted or no contact, whatever you want to call it, was kind of what was going on and the reason why she decided to contact me. So we uncovered the blocks of, like assumptions of not being chosen, not being good enough. Like she's never really been in long-term relationships. So it was kind of, like that it's too good to be true feeling. Like it was kind of hard for her to accept that somebody really had a great time with her and was going to stick to their guns and make plans to see her again. And it was hard for her to kind of believe that. And therefore she created, the ghosting or the no contact and the fear that is he going to contact me when he gets back? Are we going to keep in track and all of that? So that was basically the first few sessions, was kind of uncovering those blocks and changing those stories of all the reasons of why he will contact her and all the reasons why they are gonna, go on this trip together. And, this is where the ignoring the 3D comes in, where it's like, we're so easy to say, well, I haven't heard from him in 2 months and the trip is coming on this day and this, that, and the other, so forget it's probably not gonna happen. Well, I haven't heard from him in like a month, there's probably somebody else and he's not gonna call. It's so easy for us by default, to go automatically to the worst case scenario and the negative story. And this is why coaching sometimes is it comes into play where we kind of give you that pep talk. We kind of keep you on track. We kind of uncover some of the thoughts and doubts that you had that created that. And you're like, oh shoot, yeah, I have the aha moment. I was worried that he wasn't going to call me. I was afraid that maybe he wasn't going to be as interested in me, or I did have a fear that maybe it was just all talk on vacation and I wouldn't hear back from him. So the next few sessions were things like that. When she was spiraling, she'd book another session and we'd quickly kind of cover what she was feeling, uncover those blocks, come up with some new intentions, come up with a new story and all of that. So I had a session with her today, but the last one was a couple days ago. When she had contacted me for the session, I just thought it was another regular session. She, still needed some support keeping on track. So the session started as, I'm going to write in a success story, but I wanted to call you first. And I was like, well, you didn't have to make a video, like a video call to tell me. So what happened? So she said she heard from SP. So I just assumed that he finally messaged her. He finally called her. So she tells me that he called and asked, did you still want to come on vacation in May? Like, guys, do you understand that? From no contact. When I say no contact, I mean in 3D, because we're always connected. We're all connected some way, shape, or form. And others are only ever reflecting our thoughts, assumptions, fears, and stories, but we're all connected always. From not hearing from somebody for 2 months, where it could have been really easy for her to say, you know what, forget it, I'm dropping this guy. Like, he doesn't even live in my country. We haven't talked. It's obviously not going to happen. It's a week away. Forget it. So he ends up calling her and says, did you still want to come on vacation? And she was like, yeah, you're the one who asked me. Like, I could totally do it. And then last minute, she told her work that she had to go on this vacation and all that. And they are now together on vacation in Egypt. Like, guys, from not even talking to that first call being, are we still going on this trip? As if they were never disconnected in the middle. As if this time apart in between of no contact, like, never happened. As if they were talking this whole time, planning this vacation as they originally stated and went. They still went on this vacation regardless because we were able to change the story. We were able to focus on the new story. Another thing that she pointed out to me that was very helpful was that the time limit. So because their vacation was supposed to be something like May 15th or something like that, as we were getting closer to that date, she was getting more worried. You know, it's around the corner and I still haven't heard from him. Like, if we're not even talking, no way we're going on this vacation. So this is why when people ask, can you manifest on a time crunch? Absolutely. If you can keep your mental diet clean and if you can stay in the favorable story more dominantly, you don't have to be perfect, but if you could keep the new story more dominant, like you're thinking the new story more than you're thinking the old stories and fears and assumptions and all that, yes, it can happen right away. However, sometimes when there's a time crunch, you're looking at the time like, oh my gosh, it's in 5 days. Oh my gosh, it's in 3 more days. And now you're looking to see if there's any movement. And it's kind of actually creating resistance because now you have a concrete date in which this should happen that you're starting to doubt that it's not going to happen. It's in 3 days. It's in 2 days. We haven't talked yet. No way. No chance. The date is here. The date is here. It's not going to happen. Chances are then it doesn't happen because you had all these fears and resistance because you actually had a time crunch, a date in place. So what I was speaking to her about is I said, let's just say you don't go on vacation May 15th or whatever it was that you were supposed to, and he calls you in June. Will you still go on that vacation? She says, absolutely. I said, would you be mad at him and say, nope, I'm not coming on this vacation because we should have came to the old vacation? She says, no, that would be the old version of me. That would still be the triggered version of me. That would not be the version of myself that manifested still going on the vacation with this person. So you wouldn't care if it happened later than the date you wanted it to come. Give it good meaning. Maybe he didn't have the funds, you know, to go in May. Maybe he was busy. Something could have happened in his personal life. Don't make it define you. When somebody cancels on you or doesn't call you or, you know, I don't know, doesn't include you in something, the first thing we do is, you know, that's so rude. They should have invited me. Maybe there's another girl. Maybe there's another guy. Maybe they're lying. Maybe they're ghosting. Don't make it about yourself not being chosen, not good enough, not worthy, not invited, fear of being left out. Because it could be anything. They could be stressed. They could be busy. He could have had a financial situation and all that. And that's exactly what happened. So when he called her, he said he had just gone to a long vacation. When he came back, his job was not, you know, panning out the way it was supposed to, and he was struggling financially. And that's why he wasn't really connecting with her and why he didn't mention this vacation, because he was kind of worried like that it wouldn't happen and he didn't want to get her hopes up and all that. She never asked him what happened. He just kind of came out and said all that. And then he ended up getting work and ended up getting money. And then therefore he called her to say, do you still want to go on this vacation? I'm going for my birthday anyways. Everything's booked. If you'd like to come, you could still come. And sure enough, they did. And they actually met in the same country to leave together. And he's invited her on a few of those nights with his friends. And he's helped her out. He speaks the language of the country they're in. So he's helped her settle in with, you know, concierge and hotel and all that. So sometimes when you think there's no movement, there is movement. This was like, if you had to think logically, this was a situation that you would have never thought was going to happen because she did not hear from him. The first thing somebody that is unaware of conscious creation and law of assumption would have been like, screw this. He hasn't called me. I'm over it. Like, forget it. This is not happening. And therefore, you're going to create it not happening and you're not going to go on this vacation. But because we're aware that everyone is you pushed out and that our dominant thoughts create, then we know if something happens or doesn't happen, we created it. So we really got on to her mental diet and to those stories and really, fantastic, like so amazing that from not even talking for 2 months at all, not a text, not a message, and she saw him on social media and she saw him posting things and she was triggered and she, you know, said, well, if he has time to post on social media, he should have time to send me a message. And I said, but he's not messaging because you have a fear that he's not going to message. You know, if you're holding on to this story of he's not going to call, if you wanted to, he would have, he didn't, you're going to keep creating this time where you're not hearing from him. So we got back on track with her story. We uncovered all those blocks. We stuck to the new story. And then as if no time had passed, he contacted her and they're on this trip. Now, this is a case of like, this is never going to happen to, oh my gosh, it happened, like out of the blue. So do you see how when you change your state, when you have your intentions in order, when you have a good mental diet of all the reasons why it can happen and it should happen and it will happen, rather than all the fears of the stories that it's not going to happen, you change timelines, you change states, and it's going to reflect back to you. And they are now on this trip together. Like, how amazing is that? So that was my success stories. And like I said, I think in these 2 months we had maybe 4 sessions before she had the call. And And yeah, another thing that we discussed was now that he's back in the picture, this is the time where people kind of slack on their mental diet. This is the time when people kind of, well, I already have him now, right? Sometimes we're doing intentions, affirmations, and things like that from that place of, I'm doing this to get something. And then when we get it, we kind of stop. And then what happens is now they're back in your life, but now you're going to be triggered because they may call you, they may not call you, they might cancel a plan. And this is the time where you have to be really strong and really stick to your mental diet, because these are all the things that are giving you feedback. Any failure is feedback. Anything that's happening that's unwanted is feedback to where your mental diet's going, what's your state at. Oh, I'm slipping again. Let me get back on a routine. Let me go get back on my intentions. Same with when amazing things are happening and things are happening in your favor. Boom, that's a sign that I've got the right state of mind going. I've got the right mental diet going. I'm on track because the good things are reflecting. So she did call me once since she's been there, because the invitation came so quickly. They hopped on a plane at the same airport. They went there together. It's the first time she's seen him in 2 months. It's a lot of like 4D and 3D catching up and human emotions. And oh my gosh, I can't believe this is really happening. This is why things, shouldn't happen now. No, it needs time. You plant the seed, it needs time to grow. You need to grow. They need to grow. Everything needs to align so that it flows perfectly when it comes. So she was triggered because there were some people that were invited on this trip and all that. And he went out and this, that, and the third. Basically, I said to her, sometimes when we get our desire or when we get SP back, now it's like, instead of thinking, yes, I finally got him back. I did this. I manifested him back in. He's going to show up favorably. We kind of get like shocked and we kind of start to like worry now, like, but how long is this going to last? I hope he doesn't leave again. Okay, I hope I don't screw up on this trip. Maybe he just invited me because like all these old stories and old patterns are going to come in. You have to think. We've been thinking these old stories, unfavorable, limiting beliefs, poor self-concept. We've been thinking all these negative stories, unfavorable stories for the past 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, however old you are, that those things are going to creep in a little bit easier and faster than the new story. Now, is it going to take you another 5, 10, 15, 20 years to reprogram your mind? No, because now we're aware of conscious creation. Now we're aware that our thoughts create. Now we're aware of what thoughts, dominant thoughts create this, and what dominant thoughts are going to create that. We're going to catch them now. Now we're aware quicker. Now we can gauge those thoughts quicker. Now we can change those stories quicker. So it's going to happen quicker. So yeah, she just needed a little pep talk to kind of get through. Now I'm on this trip and now he's here. Like, I don't know what to do with myself. And I said, stick to the same story. You were chosen, you were loved, you were wanted, you were, committed to. If he didn't want you to come, he wouldn't have invited you. If he didn't want you to like meet his friends and things, he wouldn't invite you out to the pub or the restaurants to meet their friends. He wouldn't have invited you to the birthday. He would have never even called you. He could have called her after the trip if he didn't want her to come or bring it up. Do you know what I mean? So, just stick to the story of how it can happen, all the reasons why it will work out, all the proof that he does want you there, that he does want to be with you, and just keep that going. Stick on your mental diet because that's key. And out of sight, out of mind. A little bit easy to stick to your story when they're not there to trigger you. But when the triggers are there because the person is back, that's when you need to get on top of your game a little bit more, be a little bit more disciplined, because, you might get the hot and cold, or they might leave again. Or I have clients that say he showed up, he's back, but not in the favorable state, not in the way that I want him to be. Because now that they're back, the old triggers are coming in. So once you do get your desire, once you do get your SP, stick to your story, stick to your mental diet, your routine, whatever it was that helped you get them, because sometimes that's when there's more challenge because the triggers are in your face. So that's the success story. Moving on to the question was, there was a short that I posted on how to manifest money. And I was talking about like to change your mindset. And this viewer asked, hey Linda, in law of assumption terms, does mindset mean your thoughts about the topic? Yes. So your mindset, or sometimes we use your mental diet, or you can use your awareness, your consciousness. Basically what that means is, what are you mostly thinking of? What's your dominant state? What's your dominant thoughts? The mindset is what's going on in here. So for example, a poor mindset about money, in the situation the video was about money, the poor mindset about money would be, I'm broke, this is never going to happen, I'm never going to win the lottery, I keep getting too many bills, I don't make enough money at work. That's a poor mindset. That's a poor mindset about money. Same with SPs or losing weight or getting a job. It's never going to happen. I'm never chosen. I'm not good enough. They're going to pick somebody else. This is never going to work out for me. It's the same thing. That's your mindset. So your mindset, your mental diet, your thoughts, your awareness, all of that is what's going on in here. What are you keeping in here? The good, the bad, or the ugly? What are you dominantly focusing on? Are you more focused and aware and thinking the unfavorable stories, the negative stories, limiting beliefs? Or are you dominantly thinking the favorable story, the good stories, the stories of how it can happen, how it will happen, the intention of I am the version of myself that has A, B, and C. It is easy for me to have A, B, and C. Everything always works out for me. That's the kind of mindset you want. So again, you don't have to be perfect, but you want to be having the favorable story and the favorable thoughts more dominantly, which means you want to be thinking the better story more than you're thinking the negative story. And the more you're aware of those thoughts and the more you catch them and the more you redirect them and the more you say, no, that's the old me. The new version of me is the version that is chosen, loved, wanted. And you go into your intentions and you go into your self-concept affirmations and all of that to replace that. And the more often you catch it and say the favorable story, the more that's going to become your dominant story. You're going to be thinking that favorable thought easier, faster, and more often. So yes, mindset means what's going on in here. Is your mind set up to think failure or success? So things like mindset, awareness, consciousness, mental diet is basically all of that. What are the thoughts and stories you have running in the back of your mind to create what is reflected back to you in the 3D. So on that note, I intend that this video gave you a little motivation on coaching and on success stories and that you can and will get your SP easily and effortlessly, and also to kind of clarify what mindset means. So again, if you'd like coaching, info is down below, and until next time, ciao.